Coming at you live from my home studio in beautiful La Puente, California. This is the All Dodgers Podcast. Oh, that's not the one. I do that button. They all look the same. This is a show that is part of the Believe network of podcasts. What is going on, Clint Nation? Happy Thirsty Thursday. Cheers to you all on today's show. We got Dodgers talk, of course. Dodgers camp is in full swing. We're just 1 week away from the start of actual baseball being played, which is fun, even if it's meaningless baseball. Shohei Ohtani's put on his full Dodger uniform, which of course led to a whole bunch of problems because people hate the uniform. So we'll talk about those uniforms. And I welcome my friend, Greg Bergman of ESPN fame, the legend. He'll be on in just a second. We're going to share our reactions to the Rob Manfred news, our thoughts on the uniform stuff, the Dodgers sponsor patch that popped up, thoughts on the roster, all of our thoughts on all that kind of stuff, and how this could be, if we're going back to Dodgers, this could be the best team of our lifetime on another edition of All Dodgers Live. Quickly, I am Clint Pasillas. You guys see the little bug right there. You can find me as Real FRG on the social media places. Read my stuff at alldodgers.com. I got to get back on writing there, but I've been busy. Consider giving this episode a thumbs up while you're here as well. Hitting that subscribe button. All of those things really do help out the channel. And if you are watching this live, drop into the comments. We want to hear from you. But without further ado, I got to welcome the man, the myth, the legend. He goes by many names. These days, he's Corporate Greg. I remember back in my day, they called him Multi-Platform Greg. It is the OG, Mr. Greg Bergman. I think you had Sausage Pants in there or something at one point. Too many names.
What's up, Clint? Always good to talk to you. It's been way too long. But yeah, no, I did have, it was Sausage Jeans.
Sausage Jeans.
Which, yeah, that has to do with like Leap Day and Sysogen. I don't want to go through the whole thing, but that was one of them. I haven't heard MPG in forever, so that's pretty nice to feel that one again. Now it's Corporate Greg is one of them, and then it was Bergie today, which I actually just like that, clean, little, not so bad. So yeah, there's always a little bit of something. But you, man, look at you doing your own thing with a great background there. Awesome.
I got a whole room here dedicated just to making sure I could eventually get everything set up to talk to you again. That's a lot.
Yeah, it was just for me, right? And I love the Joe Kelly with the pouty face. It's just the best.
That's a puzzle that the fine folks at the Brad was it Brad Shofo or whatever his name is, they those people, I don't know, somebody sent it to us a while ago, and now it is there next to Vin where he belongs. You got Mariachi Joe and you got Mariachi Vin, and we got Dodger baseball and other things to talk about. First, as you may remember, there are friends here watching the show, watching the stream. I'll bring in the comments here. We do have folks drop into the comments. For people who don't know, Greg was the original DMAC, as it were, doing post games for Dodgers Nation when we survived the 2018 World Series failure, had that never-ending World Series game 3, game 4 party at Mohawk Bend where Max Muncy saved us.
They kicked us out.
The DJ said it's about time to get the hell out of here. I'm trying to make my money. But Jenny Vega says hit the like button. So make sure you guys are doing that. Diane is the queen of the stream, by the way, and she's calling me out that I have not posted since the 12th. So I do need to fix that on alldodgers.com. LV Lopez checking in from Riverside. We got Johnny Chinga saying cheers to you. I didn't tell Greg early enough that it's a Thirsty Thursday stream. So I apologize. I'll drink twice for you, Greg.
I finished off my scotch last night, and now I need to go I have some wine, but I could go get that, but then I have to get up and I have to walk away. And that's just way too much work right now.
Yeah, that would have been before we go live, sort of thing, for sure. Showtime LA in the stream saying Clint Nation. That's what the fine people here have dubbed the show, Clint Nation. RJ Rotman says opening day cannot come soon enough. Could not agree more with that. I just want to see at least them starting to play some baseball games, which we will see in about a week. But let's first talk a little bit about our instant reactions a little bit, a few hours later to the Rob Manfred news. We got more Manfred later on in the show, but MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred announced he would be stepping down in January of 2029. It's like, why January? I understand the contract ends there. He says he's not going to go back for it. But importantly, Mr. Piece of Metal's finally going to be gone. What was your instant reaction to no more Robbie Manfred?
It was kind of an up and down kind of thing, like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, because love seeing retirement and Manfred in the same sentence. That made me feel really good, but it's too far away. 5 years. Like, I just feels it doesn't feel good. I want him to just be gone now. The shiny piece of metal will never, ever go away. That is something that has driven me nuts since the day it happened. And I think most people too. Possibly and probably the worst commissioner in baseball history. And there's been a lot of bad ones. Like Kennesaw Mountain Landis. I think Manfred may be right there. So that's saying something right there.
Yeah, you'd have to you need to ask for a whole day to find up anything, search anything that he's actually done well or something that we could be proud of and say, that one was okay. I mean, admittedly, as somebody who has covered the team for money in the past, like having the shorter games last year was nice. I don't think he was necessarily the overarching spearhead behind that, but just you got to stop letting this dude get on a microphone, man. It's just always something embarrassing coming out of his mouth, whether it's him stuttering with the speech jammer going on in his ear, the other words that were mentioned, the piece of metal, not suspending any players from the Astros, and then up to and including today, him talking about the uniforms, which we will get into a little bit later. I want to talk Dodgers with you first, but go ahead.
To go with that, to go off of that, like all of that. That was Theo Epstein, by the way. Theo Epstein was the one that made all those rules. I don't believe Manfred had anything to do with it. He's probably he's like, oh, I like those. I'm going to shorten the game and I'm going to take full credit for it. But that was Theo Epstein. And Theo Epstein's probably going to be the guy that takes over for Manfred, right? I mean, he seems like he's the smartest guy in all of the rooms. So just put the smart guy in the room in the right spot and it should all work out just fine. Just everything is, and that's going to be his legacy. If I asked you, what's Manfred's legacy? It's the Astro scandal. You are known for doing nothing in an Astro scandal when they was fully cheating and stealing World Series titles. And I'm not saying give me a World Series title. I'm saying it was stolen and should not be. Yeah. They should just make it go away.
17 should have been vacated at the bare minimum, or a three-headed World Series, which doesn't make any sense with Dodgers. Maybe throw the Yankees in there because they got screwed over. And, of course, those Astros will give them, as they love the asterisk. But, if Rob Manfred ever gets into the Hall of Fame, which for some ungodly reason he probably will, because that's one area, like executives, it seems like they'll just throw in the Hall of Fame, but they won't add, good players, living players. I really hope they put a trash can as part of his plaque, because I think that is what he is worthy of, that pile of crap.
That would be fantastic. But, I mean, it's just him in the Hall of Fame just kind of makes sense because the Hall of Fame is just a complete waste of space at this point. I don't believe anybody that's in the Hall of Fame as of now, past Scott Rowland, means nothing to me anymore. Like the fact that I know this is not the topic that you wanted to get into and it was not on the list or anything. You brought up Hall of Fame. I get really upset because Scott Rowland being in the Hall of Fame drives me absolutely bananas. You nor anybody else in the history of the world, whether he was a good third baseman, good defensive player, or whoever he was, nobody went to a ballpark to go see Scott Rowland.
This is. I'll give you a point on that one. No, you didn't go see Scott Rowland. He's one of those. He accumulated a lot of stats. He was a very good player. He was good enough with the media. And the way the whole stupid system works is you can just hang around. Hey, if you want to let me into the party next year, I'll be here. It's very dumb. I was on with my buddies over at the Bleed Los podcast a couple weeks ago. It was just after. Yeah, they're some of the hardest working people in show business here. Actually, I think they're about to be live at the same time. They're stealing my Thursdays, but it was just after Hall of Fame announcement. And of course, Beltre. I think you would probably give a pass to Beltre as well. Very deserving, very, very
Yep.
earned their first
Yep.
ballot. But the idea of like, if you don't get in the first time, you probably don't belong in the Hall of Fame. Get rid of the. I don't know why we're on Hall of Fame talk, but I appreciate it. It's good baseball talk. Get in
You're
the
right.
first time. Get rid of the stupid 10 limit. And maybe you don't need 500 different writers, and some of them saying like, "Oh, I don't think anybody should be in this year," and people putting a player on one year but not the other year. It's very stupid. It's very poorly put together. And another thing that hopefully the next commissioner, a good commissioner, can fix. I don't know if he has control of that, but somebody somewhere get the pieces moving.
I'm glad you said that because that was exactly how I felt. And I think people don't necessarily agree with us. But if you're telling me you can't get into the Hall of Fame on your first try, you don't have enough votes your first try, you're not a Hall of Famer. That means that you were not good enough to get in. You're either a Hall of Famer or you're not. When you think of certain guys, when I think of, Albert Pujols, boom, Hall of Famer. There's no question about it. That's first ballot. You're in no matter what. If you have to sit there and go, maybe, I don't know, I have to look at the numbers. Let me see what he's done here. Oh, that's a pretty good on-base percentage. Like at that point, you're not a Hall of Famer. You just weren't good enough. I'm sorry.
It's like, well, I mean, if you translate his numbers to now from when he was playing, but if he was playing now, he'd be a really good player. It's like, it's based on era. It's based on, I mean, I think it's, as I see Diane mentioned in the chat here, I lost where it went, but I think she said like the fact that Pete Rose isn't in the Hall of Fame it's just ridiculous, which I fully agree with Diane. We'll give Diane some points on that one. But, I don't care about the whole idea of the steroid era. That was a symptom of the game at the moment. And the same way there are players in the Hall of Fame from the 70s and 80s who were slamming greenies, basically doing meth, which was a performance-enhancing drug that was later eliminated. Randy Johnson, Roger Clemens, Barry Bonds, these guys probably deserve at least a mention in the Hall of Fame because they were a symptom of the game at the time. And to be fair, of Bud Selig kind of not doing his job very good.
I mean, we can go back to Cy Young. He killed a guy. Like, what are we talking about here? And he's in there. Like, things have happened over the time to get you in. Barry Bonds, if you go back and look at Barry Bonds, and I know he's a Giant and we all hate him and blah, blah, blah. But if you go look at his stats, they're stupid. I don't care. There's nothing that you can look on there and say, it's just like, on Baseball Reference, how they bold things that you're the best at. It's bold everywhere.
Yeah.
The entire thing is bold. So at that point, like, I don't care about the steroids. You cannot talk about the game of baseball without Barry Bonds.
And that's what it should be about. And for me, that would be another way as we'll wrap on this unplanned topic, which again, I very much enjoy. This is fun. I enjoy this kind of, having somebody to talk baseball to, with the voice on the other side of the screen. That's very fun. But like somebody like Fernando definitely did not put up the numbers, but for what he meant to the game, that's a Hall of Famer. On the other flip side of it, Oral Hershiser, probably not a Hall of Famer. Hall of Very Good. There's a plenty of Hall of Very Good, but there's a story, there's a number and factor to it, and it shouldn't be based on like, well, this guy waited long enough. All right, let's let him in.
That's Fred McGriff. Like
McGriff.
If you can get in on the Veterans Committee, you're not a Hall of Famer. If you had to wait through all of that time, you're not. Like, love you, guy, but you obviously weren't good enough all of the other times you were trying to be voted in.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to put people in if they're not actually there. The Hall of Very Good is what it is now. And there's a lot of it is just Hall of Good.
It is, Hall of Good, Hall of Very Good, Hall of Okay. And a few people in here definitely. BC said no Schilling, despite the steroids, makes no sense. Yeah, I don't agree. Kurt Schilling, he didn't do enough. They have the bloody sock is in the Hall of Fame. That's good enough.
His postseason is what kind of would put him in, and that's it.
Yeah, if we're going off postseason, I mean, it's gonna be a crazy argument when we get to the point where Mason Saunders, aka, damn it, I actually lost his real name right now.
Jason Sanders.
That was the nickname, his rodeo nickname. Who the hell is the?
Oh, you're talking about Madison Bumgarner?
Yeah, Mad Bum. How the hell did I lose? Don't go to the nickname first. Next time, don't go to the nickname first. But like, how is he going to be? Is he going to be a Hall of Famer, or are we going to have this conversation of like, yeah, he was exceptional in the postseason, but then he just kind of lingered around. David Hildreth says BBWAA are full of themselves, and I think there are a good fair amount of them that definitely are, so I'll agree, and I'll give that one a coin as well. Yep. Very good point here about the Hall of Fame. Diane says smash that like button for Clint Nation. So we got that. Gus says Steve Garvey belongs in the Hall of Fame. I'm a little bit iffy on that one as well. Sarah Morris also agrees Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. Didn't like him, should be in the Hall of Fame. But I see Jenny saying, yeah, Mad Bum, sure, why not? We'll have that conversation in a few years. But right now, let's get into 2024. The sights and sounds at a Camelback Ranch are really igniting this Dodger fan base. And I know you, sir, are a busy boy over there at ESPN LA, but you have to be hyped about this new look Dodgers team. What was your reaction first, just to the offseason? Shohei, Yamamoto, Teoscar, bringing back some of the other guys with Kelly, Hayward. Overall, like reaction to it all.
I think the biggest thing for me was that Andrew Friedman and Mark Walter basically said that we are going to get you, Shohei, like you're going to come here and we are going to get everything that you could possibly want. And they came through. They got everybody. They went and got Glasnow. They got Yamamoto. They got Teoscar Hernandez on a short, sweet contract. And everything it gets deferred. All the money is getting through. So it's only making very little money. I think what they did in the offseason is phenomenal. And I don't think there would be any other team in baseball that can actually pull off what the Dodgers pulled off, because thinking the way that they think, how much they're from the top of the organization all the way down to the bottom, you can tell that it's all completely in sync. And that's why this is where Shohei wanted to be and how we were able to get everybody else. I think there's just so much going on. And the weird thing about it is, like, I wouldn't be surprised if they're not even done. I don't think they need much more, but like, what else? They said, we're going to make sure that every single position is the best player possible at that position. And they did it. Like, there's other guys that are out there. Liam Hendricks is a guy that's still kind of out there. It's a little bit older, but he's being talked about coming off of the Tommy John, because if you're a Dodger, you've had Tommy John once or twice.
That's just fair.
And so, like, a guy like that could very well slot in. He might come for less here because I'm going to win a World Series. It used to happen with the Warriors where they put the super team together, and then guys would just come because they're like, okay, we can just sign on for a minimum, win an NBA championship, and move on. That's what the Dodgers are doing right now, and you can see it in the offseason. It's amazing what they're doing.
Yeah, I would imagine like one of the biggest factors, I think, limiting them right now still is the 40-man roster. They don't have that much wiggle room to play with. You can 60-day Kershaw. You can 60-day, I think, one more dude. I can't remember right now, but you don't have very much freedom there. But you do have. I like the idea of a Liam Hendricks, and I think it was John Heyman who was talking about him today, where he's somebody that I think he's coming along. I think he's starting to throw a baseball right now, and he might not sign until later in the season. One of the things we've heard the most about, like after all of the big signings, as I bring the comments back in here, was they want a closer. They still want a closer. It's not so much that Evan Phillips can't get the job done, but they want to be able to deploy him wherever they want. And if it's, we've seen the Devin Williams thrown out there. Obviously, that's not going to happen. I think that's as much as they could go out and get him. It's going to cost a little bit. It's going to cost a good arm and a leg, and they have enough right now where you don't need to be the very best version of this team in April and May and June. We've seen them be that in the past, and it doesn't really mean shit if we can all remember the past as much as Dodger fans tend to. If you're looking ahead, you're looking at somebody like a Hendricks. You're maybe looking at a Williams at the trade deadline. Both of those guys should be available around then. Jenny is in on the Hendricks thing, saying he's resilient AF, and he's definitely somebody that I think at this point in time for half a season, I agree with you that he would probably go somewhere for less money for that chance to win. And all of a sudden you're adding Liam Hendricks to the end of your bullpen in the middle of the season, along with Clayton Kershaw to the starting rotation, along with Walker Buehler in a month or whatever it's going to be into the season. I call it, we call it the embarrassment of riches with this Dodgers team and this roster, and it just seems like the hits don't stop coming.
No, it's good, and it's going to keep on coming, and it's amazing that we're not even going to be talking about guys like Tony Gonsolin and Dustin May that were big parts of that team, and they're not going to pitch this year, most likely. So there's so many things that they're doing right now, and Hendricks would be great. I liked Phillips in the closer role. I thought he was great. He came through and he was solid. He was always on point. I mean, obviously he's better in that fireman role that Blake Trinan was always in, but if you can get one of those, I don't even know what's going on with Trinan. Do you know is he going to be back this year?
Yeah, they're saying he's healthy. He's at camp. He's pitching. He's throwing. The same thing with that other guy they acquired last offseason, JP Fireeisen. He's a guy that they're expecting to be a part of the opening day bullpen. And Dan Hudson lives. He lingers. He's like a cockroach. He will not go away. He's actually the guy. I don't know if you saw the clip. I think it was today. Gavin Lux, going long dong at Camelback. It was off of Dan Hudson, so Danny's in mid-season form. But that would be kind of like there's two paths you can very easily walk with this team. It's like, is this the best team of our lifetime? Is this the best team ever? And also, like, it's kind of easy to nitpick at some of the problems they could have. There's a lot of people, particularly on the pitching staff, that their strength isn't being healthy, we'll say, especially over the last couple of years. And Glasnow would be one. Yamamoto has not pitched as a major leaguer in his lifetime. I don't think that will be a problem, but like adjusting to the every 5-day schedule or however they plan that out, there's definitely some of those question marks in there. But going back to what you're saying, like you love Phillips in that fireman role, him being, in that closer's role, him being good at that role. It's kind of a problem that it depends on Blake Trinan a good little bit, Fireeisen a little bit, and then of course you have Joe Kelly, who needs to stay healthy in his own right, and Brusdar Graterol. So I do want to ask you now those two questions I kind of just threw out to the ethos.
Yep.
Best team of our lifetime, best team ever. Riff on that.
So for the Dodgers, it's kind of crazy because I think I've said this is the best Dodger team of my lifetime the last 3 years. Every year it's the best Dodger team of my lifetime. So yes, this team should be the best Dodger team of my lifetime, and possibly, if it all works out, could be the very best team of all time with everything that they have. They have a chance to legitimately beat the 116 games. If you said to me they're going to win 120 games, I'd say, okay, I can totally see it.
Yeah.
You say they're going to win 105 games, I would say, okay, I can totally see it. I mean, it really doesn't matter what they do. It really, obviously, it depends on what they do in the postseason. But if they go through and they sweep through the playoffs and they sweep, and that doesn't have to sweep, if they go through and win the World Series, I think this may go down as the best team of anyone's lifetime. There's just so many stars. You're not going to find even a 1, 2, 3 better than Mookie, Freddie, Shohei. And then you're going to have all the other dudes that are behind them. You don't even know if it's going to be. Is it going to be Will Smith? Is it going to be Max Muncy? Is it going to be Teoscar Hernandez?
All three of those guys have been all-stars in their lifetime as well.
Yep. So there's just so many things about this team. And that I'm not even talking about the pitching staff. The fact that Yamamoto is 25, never pitched a game in the major leagues, and he's the highest paid pitcher in major league history, more than Garrett Cole. That means that you're coming in and you have to become the clear number one starter immediately, which is a tough place to be in. And if he shows up and it is that guy, and having a healthy Glasnow, a healthy Walker Buehler, who was your number one for a long time, how he was in the playoffs was, I trusted no one more than Walker Buehler in the postseason. So if he's in your 3-4 spot, there's just so many guys that are here that if you put them all together and they win a World Series in their first year, it's the best team I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, focusing on Walker Buehler, I said it in a recent show, recent stream, or whatever it was. You look at where things kind of started coming apart for Walker Buehler. You put together that exceptional 2021, almost, I think it was an over 8 WAR. If you're looking at Baseball Reference, dude was lights out. But obviously, coming off of the COVID shortened season, my guy was gassed in October, and it showed. And the whole rotation was gassed. You know, They got their World Series when Scherzer struck out Lamont Wade, or whoever it was, or Wilmer Flores. Don't cry about it, Wilmer. And then, he's not there in 22. He's not there in 23. And you're seeing them get bounced in the first round. Walker Buehler, to me, kind of my X factor. Now I'm thinking about it. If you're looking on the pitching side, Walker Buehler 100% is the X factor for this team. What about you? Let's throw that one out there. You got an X factor this year.
So X Factor is a tough one because you can't go with any of those big dudes that are up there, the people at the top of the lineup, even the people in the middle. I think the one that I would go with is maybe a guy like Gavin Lux, who is going to be your everyday shortstop, he was supposed to be last year, the guy that was just going to be steady and just hidden. He has always had a little bit of power, can get on base. If you can play a good shortstop and be good with Mookie Betts at second, which, by the way, love Mookie at second the whole time. But Lux being at the bottom of the lineup, being that number 9 guy that's your pseudo kind of leadoff guy, I think he can come through in a very clutch way. So I would probably go with Lux right there.
That's fair. It's almost like X Factor / unsung hero or unexpected star for the season. And
right.
I was talking about this with DMAC last week. It's like Lux has it very easily right now. All he needs to do, is just play a good enough shortstop. Don't be a problem and keep the line moving in that number 9 spot. That's all you need to do. The pressure is completely not there. And, I'm somebody who's very much learned in my years of covering this team and particularly seeing him from the start of his career up to this point. The mentals will get to him. The pressure will get to him. Right now, there is no pressure. Just go have fun, kid. Go pretend like you're still playing in Kenosha, playing some shortstop, and drop a few dingers here and there, and you're gonna have a good time. But it's a good X factor. It's a good unexpected star, we'll say, to have for the season. I do want to get to some of the comments here. We've been doing that thing where we're talking, and I'm assuming the people are here to have us talking, but I also feel bad when we're not getting into the comments. Diane is praying for the pitching staff to be healthy. Every team needs that, but none more than this Dodgers team because the depth is pretty good. You look at that 6 through 10. This is one of the things I was speaking with Dodger Blues Jeff Spiegel about last week as well. Look at that. Look at me plugging my shit. But
that's right.
The 6 through check out the links are in the description below. The 6 through 10. I mean, the Dodgers 6 through 10 rotation could be the full rotation. The 1 through 5 for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Like, it's not that bad, but it's also. You don't want to go into October with those guys. These top 5, top 6, they need to stay healthy. So everybody give a thumbs up to the video for Diane's point there.
That's a good one. And by the way, for Diane, that's why I think I wonder what you think. Them going to a 6-man rotation, if that's actually what they end up doing, I think it's extremely smart to do it that way. Because there's so many injuries on it, because you have a 25-year-old Yamamoto that has never pitched in the major leagues, and you don't know kind of how that's going to react on his body. Glasnow, who it doesn't stay healthy. You have Buehler, like we've been talking about, that has 2 Tommy Johns. There's just Bobby Miller's still very young. When Kershaw comes back, he's going to need a little extra time. I mean, everybody that they're going to be throwing out there is going to be guys that have either had injury histories or could use that extra rest. If they can just keep those guys healthy and just going slowly down the line and be ready when it gets to October, then hopefully all of that goes away in October, that we're not worrying about, oh God, the pitching staff's worn down, throwing too many innings, like what's going on here. It's a big deal.
It really is. They need to, they can really kind of script the regular season. But we've learned, particularly over the last 2 years, they cannot script October. It doesn't work. You can also go back to 2019. Scripting October does not work. So just go stay healthy, go play, and get everybody right in the end. Well, that's bad phrasing, but get people ready to go in
It's
September.
your stream. You can say what you want.
Yeah. You're damn right. Hit that like button, guys. I don't know on YouTube says Williams, talking about Devin Williams is wasting away with the Brewers. Listen, give him time. He could be a Dodger by August 2nd or whenever it's going to be.
Come on, let's just real fast. Sorry to interrupt you, but if you get Devin Williams at the trade deadline, it's just not fair. It's not fair to the rest of the Major League Baseball what they're doing here. You can't get every single person possible. There's not. They already have. It's an embarrassment of riches, like you said earlier. Mm-hmm. You already have an amazing all-star caliber player at basically every single position, or a former all-star at every single position, and you want to get Devin Williams, who's possibly the best closer in baseball too. I mean, I'm all for it. Yeah. Give me more, but that's wild to even think about.
Hey, everybody's already big mad at the Dodgers. Just go all in, and then if they want to complain about
be the heel.
Yeah, be the heel. People want to complain about, the Dodgers are buying a championship. I mean, the Rangers kind of did, and people weren't happy with the way the Dodgers won in 2020 when everybody had the equal amount of opportunity to win. Yep. Who cares about their respect? What we're looking for is rings and parades here in Los Angeles, as Rob Manfred would say. We got one more mention coming up. Akira is checking in from Japan. So we got, as we used to say on my old show, we got Mr. Worldwide going on right now. Surprisingly, okay, this is getting a little bit ahead, but a tease into the next segment. Jenny says she's okay with the size of the names on the back. We will talk about that in just a second.
Oh, Jenny.
But there's a lot of things I really want to complain about those things. But Diane agrees, need that 6-man rotation. I agree. I don't think it'll be direct or an exact 6-man rotation. And I think it'll be what they do all the time, which is you bring up a spot starter, you have, give another guy an extra day, or as Dave would say, give him a blow. That's how they'll do it. But by the second half, they fully can do a 6-man rotation. I mean, we haven't even mentioned James Paxton, who's going to be in there. And then, yeah, most people do after Kershaw signed. They're like, oh, what's going on here? But
the one lefty that's up there, it's funny. I talk about it with Travis Rogers, who's on ESPN LA with Travis and Sliwa show, and he always makes fun of me. I'm like, there's only one lefty starter, and he's like, what are you doing? Shut up! Why? Shut up! They have enough. Yeah. I don't care that there's only one lefty starter.
Give me all of the people. At this point, that's what people want. They're tired of losing in the first round. Mario wants to see a 9-man rotation. What do you think about that?
A 9-man rotation. I think then you're getting too far down. It'd be funny though.
Might be a little much there. Diane also points out
energy and getting in there.
Yeah. Watch out for Stone this year. I'm gonna feel a little something. I don't know if it's good or bad about Stoner, but I'm hoping Stoner, when he does get an opportunity, can show out, because last year sucked ass for Gavin Stone. Diane said also, she's pointing out that I can say as many F-bombs as I want on here. I try not to go too hard in the paint on the F-bombs. Don't want to get demonetized, because it'd be like that. But I'm seeing a few people talking about the jerseys. It's probably about time to move on and talk about these jerseys. But of course, we are here with Mr. Greg Bergman, the famous ESPN LA worldwide sensation corporate Greg. Hey, listen, that's your radio bump.
That was the greatest intro ever, but also you're the real FRG. I'm not the real Bergman. So you are the famous one.
Listen, get yourself a handle. You could change it. You've gone through a few of them in the time that I've known you.
It's fun. It's just fun to change it up every once in a while and be like, hey, I can't find you. Yeah, too bad.
It'd be like that, These people got to find you that way, or sometimes you could hide and be like, I wanted to make sure you really cared about me. But all right, the uniforms.
It was yesterday. We don't care about anybody anymore.
What's that? I missed that.
No, it was just a dumb joke about Valentine's Day being yesterday.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
You didn't get me anything. All right, this
You
is
gotta explain it. It never works.
that's fair. That's fair. This is the hot topic of the day, and it's really making the rounds. The Athletic just dropped a kind of scathing article about an hour and a half before we go live here on All Dodgers Live on this fine thirsty Thursday. But yes, the uniforms. They trash, they ugly, they are mid at best. And to me, listen, no amount of paid off players talking about how great it is on social media can change my mind. MLB and Nike, they look cheap. They look like shit. And I brought this up on Monday's stream. It didn't get too much traction then, but then it seems like now, like the rest of the baseball world is kind of caught up today. Fans hate the way it looks. Players hate the way it looks and feels. Angels outfielder Taylor Ward says, quote, "It looks like a replica, does not look like a $450 jersey." What are your thoughts so far about a couple days of these new look uniforms?
I mean, they're ridiculous. They look stupid. They do look like a replica. And if the players are not happy with I know this is just spring training, but they're going to have to change them. And also, when I think it was Jenny that said that she was fine with the size of the lettering. Come on. They're teeny tiny. They're so bunched up. So there's the MLB logo that's probably just a little bit too big, bunched up with these teeny tiny letters, and then the numbers are gigantic that are moved into them. The whole thing looks ridiculous. When you see the back of people's jerseys, you have to like squint to read who it is. It doesn't look right at all. And I think they're terrible. And they're just trying to sell something out. And I think those are going to get tossed out to the side. I'm sure you.
Yeah, they have time to remedy. They have time to rectify this travesty that is trying to ruin our fine game. But zero customization. This is more of the things that players are complaining about. They can't customize any parts of the jerseys anymore. They're supposed to be completely uniform, which means no tight pants for Walker Buehler. And to me, that's a no. That's a no for me, dog. They're not staying true. Yeah, Lux, Fernando Tatis Jr. There's a number of them out there. Spencer Strider. A lot of these dudes are going to be very unhappy about it. So zero customization. They're not staying true to the colors in the Athletic article. One of the I think it was Dansby Swanson talking about Cubs blue is pretty like world famous. How do they mess that up? Apparently players complained to the union about it, trying to get it fixed. Some people who are like reps with Nike talking to their people, not a damn soul likes it. And again, I don't care about videos of like Jason Hayward saying, "Man, these feel so good," and then you see like the gun pop up behind his head. It's like, "I am good. Please return my family." But so in only his infinite wisdom, as only final mention of Rob Manfred on today's show, as only he can do. A whole bunch of bitches are complaining and moaning about this issue, about these ugly ass uniforms and nobody liking the way again they look. Like Ohtani on the back. This was a thing at his intro presser. How stupid and how tiny the letters were on that damn uniform. So Manfred did that thing where he's like, "Yeah, we're totally listening to everybody," and then just gave us this shit soup. So let's hear him and then react to Robbie Manfred.
Well, we always pay attention to what people are saying about any new initiative. I think in baseball, any new initiative, there's going to be some negative feedback. First and most important, these are Nike jerseys. I mean, we entered this partnership with Nike because of who they are and the kinds of products that they produce. Everything they've done for us so far has been absolutely 100% successful across the board. The jerseys are different. They're designed to be performance wear as opposed to what has traditionally been worn, so they are going to be different. But they have been tested more extensively than any jersey in any sport. The feedback from the All-Star game last year where the jerseys were worn was uniformly positive from the players. So I think after people, wear them a little bit, I think that they're going to be really popular.
Ridiculous.
I don't know about popular. I think people would just accept that this is the garbage they have to wear. But this is why we march and complain and try to get some things done right now. But Manfred, once again, just completely missing the point and this guy didn't listen to anybody. I don't know if you saw, and this is another one of the things that it was mentioned in The Athletic. It's like the day a whole bunch of players, fans are taken to the Twitter machine to complain about this situation and these ugly ass uniforms. The league sends out like, here's all of our rave reviews. It's like, did nobody read the room? And again, it's just, that's what Major League Baseball does. They don't read the room. They just, we're going to stay with the status quo.
Yeah, they're basically like Rotten Tomatoes, and they just pay for people to be the critic score to go up or down, and that's what it is. Are you a Seinfeld fan?
I'm a Seinfeld fan.
Okay, so this Rob Manfred sounds like George Costanza when he changed the uniforms for the Yankees. He said, "Cotton jerseys." That's what he said.
They all shrunk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like, it's just what sounds like a good idea doesn't necessarily mean it is a good idea. And the players that are saying that the players are also saying that their pants feel like they're not their pants.
Yeah.
If you don't actually feel like your pants that you're wearing, you're not going to be comfortable. You're not going to be able to play to the peak of your performances, and you're going to have a watered down product because they're going to be complaining and upset with what they're wearing in. Play good, feel good, play good.
Yeah.
That's how that stuff works. And you let the players do it. If you can't let them customize things or get the tight pants or get whatever they're wanting, it's a problem. Anything that you say of like, well, it's Nike, so therefore everything's going to be A-okay.
Yeah.
That's not the way you can do this.
Like that's just a blanket statement. Like that's what makes it okay. Oh, it's Nike. Well, I guess that's all we ever really needed, was just it to be Nike. And I'll buy whatever you're selling now. Thank you, Mr. Rob Manfred. I saw 275 vet says that is Rob Manfred speak for fuck you. His whole spiel there. It's just like, we don't care. But
a lot of words to get to one space.
As they usually tend to do. I don't know. I don't have too many more thoughts on it. I already kind of complained. Rebecca is upset about the idea, the prospect of no tight pants as well. We should be. What else? Anthony, if we're talking more, Manfred says he has to go. Like he's definitely going to retire, but get the hell out of here a little bit sooner here. That one I'm lost in. Go ahead. You got something?
No, I was just saying that, like, why does it have to be 5 years? Like, why can't he just go now? And bring Theo Epstein? I think everybody would be happy. I think the owners would be happy. I don't think anybody's going to be upset. I mean, they're making money, so the owners are never going to care. But at the same time, he's a joke. Like, what are we talking about? If any rational person listens to what you just played, they say this guy doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah,
and of course we've heard most of his of Robbie's. As Johnny says here, Rob Manfred is lying. His lips are moving. We've gone through the Manfred lip service plenty over, especially over these last 6 or 7 years since Trash Can Gate. One last little note, or I guess we'll call it a side note or addendum or an extra adventure. The Dodgers unveiled. No, we're going back into the Hall of Fame. The Dodgers unveiled their corporate sponsor patch this week, and the team just said, "F all y'all, we're the sponsor now." Do you like it? Do you hate it? Are you indifferent? Could it have been worse?
I mean, I'm sure it could have been worse. They could have used like ExxonMobil. I don't know. They could have found something. I don't know. I don't know why I chose ExxonMobil. Like they're totally
sponsored
fine.
by ISIS. And now I'm demonetized. Yeah.
They caught you now.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, like, I just thought it was weird. A big giant G. I don't really usually care about jersey patches because it's just there for the money. But they're the owners of the team. Did they actually pay for the jersey sponsorship, or do they just take it? I don't understand how this is working. And if it's the whole point of it is to make money through a jersey sponsor and you're not paying for that sponsor you put on there, what are we doing? Just don't do it. So no one's going to go look at the G and be like, "Oh, I'm going to Guggenheim. Let me just go to Google and find them and see what they do."
Listen, it's It's a hell of it's a hell of a ballsy play by them. Sure,
Yeah.
they're not giving themselves money directly, I would imagine, unless that's very weird. It's like, here you go, and then they do a fake handshake or whatever. But you look at where they put that. They put that on that right arm where Shohei holds that bat. That Guggenheim is going to get out there day after day. Freddie's arm too for the next 4 years, but also the next 10 years. Like, if you're looking for a mobile billboard and you want to get that in front of people's faces, particularly in Japan, which was always kind of like when they hired the whatever, like, Japanese liaison in marketing. I forget the fella's name, but they knew what they were doing with the Shohei hire. Like, they're making money off of him. They're paying Shohei for the next 20 years, ostensibly. I don't even know if that's the right word in this situation. Sure. And Shohei's going to make his money, but again, that's a hell of a damn billboard for whatever the hell it is that Guggenheim's trying to sell. Like what is that again? What are they?
Yeah, what do they actually do? They sell something?
So I googled it. It said Guggenheim Partners, innovative solutions, enduring values. So if you guys want to buy enduring values, go to Guggenheim, courtesy. Tell them Shohei sent you.
I mean, it was a good thought by you, like having the right arm up and you can see the patch right there. Like that's smart. I didn't even think about it that, but at the same time, I know I'm going to a different sport, but for the Lakers patch, they have BBGO.
Yeah.
And they have, like, when you see BBGO, you're like, oh, what's that? I'm going to go find it and go see that it is dumpling.
Well, you don't like just like the G. I saw somebody put the like the Gru from Despicable Me. They put the his G next to it. So somebody else said it was a great tweet. So the G stands for gangsta. And I appreciated that as well.
Sure, like, great, but I mean, is Guggenheim really trying to get more business? I mean, if you can buy the Dodgers and pay Shohei Ohtani $650 million or whatever it is in 10 years from now, then you're doing okay. Like, I don't think you're hurting for cash. You own the Dodgers and are going to make billions of dollars.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just very strange to me that they would use their own company to go onto the arm.
The important thing is, again, it could have been much, much worse. And we saw that the spectacle was like the Mets logo last year, sponsor patch, and at least it's just a G. At least it kind of matches the colors on the ugly uniform. So could have been worse. But anyways, my guy, Mr. Noel Sanchez, is in the chat. He just wanted to throw out a what's up, Clint and Greg. What is going on? Los is in the chat, says, what's up, Greg Bergman? So you're getting some love there in the chat.
Vice president of the Handsome Man community right there, Los. That's an ESPN 710 thing.
Oh, gotcha. I listen to radio. Trust me. I don't even listen to this show. Let's be fair. I live it. That's why. Let's see. 275 Vet said, I'd guess they pay out of a separate corporation ad fund, then deduct it. Again, I don't think they're paying. I think they're just, it's like when a player dies or whatever, they put their number on the jersey. This is like, maybe it's a bad correlation, but still, it's like it's free real estate. Throw it on there instead of the LA.
But that's the whole point. Like, it doesn't matter whether or not they use some kind of dummy corporation or they use whatever they're using to get that on there. They're not getting money from somebody paying to put their sponsor on their jersey. And especially with Shohei there, I guarantee you there's a bunch of different companies that would love to have their sponsorship right there.
I'm sure they were aware, and they just went all in and said, like, I think I got this.
It's for us. Don't worry about it.
But that'll be around now. Who knows how long they're going to be doing that sponsorship? But sad to know that the beautiful, iconic uniform is forever gone. Everybody pray to your God and rest in peace. Old school Dodgers jersey, and also the one from like the early 2000s with the nice piping. That's another phrasing right there.
You're all about the phrasing today.
Nice piping. That is what she said. All right, before I let you get out of here, I invented a whole new segment just for you. So if it crashes and burns, I blame you specifically, but I'm calling it the Hot Corner. Fully original. Nobody has ever called a show or the segment, any segment,
Never heard of it.
the Hot Corner. But this This is like I'm calling it my hot ones without the wings. This is 5 spicy topics of increasing spiciness and things that are designed to maybe get you in trouble and get a few DMs slid your way. But I know you, and I believe in you, and I believe that you have the ability to reason any one of your takes about these particular topics. So all that said, I promise it's not actually a trap. I'm not gonna set you up, my guy. But number 1, Gavin Lux. We talked about him a little bit. He turned heads today with a loud ass batting practice, took Dan Hudson yard with a dong. Is he? Here's your spicy question. Is he still the starting shortstop by September?
Yes, I think he is still the starting shortstop, because I don't think there's anybody that's going to take over him. It's not going to be Miguel Rojas, and I don't think they'll go out and get somebody else. I think they wanted him to be the starting shortstop last year and to be the guy that was just always going to be just a steady guy, like you and D-Mac were talking about. You said that he just has to be fine.
Yeah.
And if he's fine defensively, he's going to be great, because if he's hitting dingers, if he's getting on base, if he's showing his speed, if he can just be a steady presence at the bottom of the lineup, just to have someone there, then he'll stay there for the whole season. I don't think that he will be going anywhere anytime soon.
Just stay healthy and be good enough. That's all you got to do. If he doesn't fall off the face of the planet. But then again, if he's playing decent enough defense and can't hit, they already had that with Miguel Rojas last year. Yeah. So we've seen this team be able to survive it and still go out and win 100 games. Question number 2. We know there's going to be a lot of attention surrounding this team this year, in the Shohei era, in the year where they're supposed to go out and win it all. Can this group, can Mookie Betts, I'll focus on him, but can this group handle the noise and attention?
I think if there's a team that can handle the noise and attention, it's probably this one, because what we were talking about earlier, every single year has been World Series or bust. It's been like that for like 8 years, it feels like. Every year has been that. And so this is no different. By signing all these guys and bringing in all these different people and being the best team possibly ever and the best of our Dodger lifetime and all of those things, it's still the same goal as it was last year, World Series or bust. So if they're going to be if they can handle that over the years, and with just in the media specifically, this year is going to be no different. It's just going to be with a different guy and a higher level with Shohei. And if Shohei can just be cool and get along with his teammates and show who he was, that it was not in Anaheim. The way I looked at it was like, he's in Los Angeles now. Los Angeles and Anaheim are totally 2 different places.
Different worlds.
If he can just be here and show that he's willing to be a part of everything. When he got his MVP, his speech was all in English. He wasn't doing that when he was an Angel. So I think there are a lot of things that he's starting to change just a little bit to be a part of the team. He also deferred all of his money so they can get dudes. I mean, what are we talking about here? So if there's a team that can do it, it's this team that can handle all that pressure.
Yeah, that was a man who was absolutely scorned and hurt by his past relationship, Artie and the Angels. This is a guy like, whatever, I don't care. I just want to have fun and go try to win some ball games. And it's a hell of a way of doing it. To do it is by deferring $68 million of your $70 million annually. Stole my thunder a little bit, because the next question I was going to ask you is the season a failure if they don't win a World Series? Because they, you know how it goes. They get bounced in the NLDS. They set up the postseason or after season postmortem a week later, where Andrew Friedman and sometimes Brandon Gomes are there, being like, "No, this was a very good, successful season, and we don't view it in terms of a World Series or bust." But then you listen to Shohei, and one of the things he said, it's like, no, they said it's like this last run has been a failure, and now we want you to make it where it's not a failure. So I'll ask you more direct. You already answered it, but is it a failure to you, to the fan base, to the greater media? You also understand how the greater media will run and carry this. Stephen A. Smith works for your network. You know who's going to want to talk about it.
Yep.
If they don't win the World Series, is it a failure?
Yes, 100% is a failure. And I'd ask you the same thing from last year. Was last year a failure?
Less so, just because they didn't spend
At the beginning, when you went into this year, into last year, did you think they was World Series or bust?
I would. Last year, I wouldn't say it was World Series, but maybe make a World Series. But there were a lot more questions. Like the year before, when they had Trey Turner, that was a much better feeling team. Last year, it was like, last year was the year I kind of felt it's like, yeah, whatever. They might F around and maybe, pull a 93 win season out of their ass. That's fine. They're still going to make the playoffs. But, there were some obvious problems. And then they go and hit the century mark again, because that's just, what they do. But
the year before was a World Series or bust. The year before that was World Series or bust. The year before that was World Series or bust. I think maybe 2017 wasn't. 2018 probably wasn't, but every year after that,
19 through 20 through 22, 100%. They needed to go out and win, and they won one, but it was also the year that was a little, we're not going to talk about that. All right, so if we're talking about success, failure, there's going to be one guy at the top of all of that, and it's not Shohei. He makes much less money, but he also makes the decisions. If the Dodgers are once again bounced early in the playoffs, does Dave Roberts get fired?
Are you asking me, or are you asking me what I think that Andrew Friedman will do? Those are two very different questions.
I understand that entirely. I'll go with the latter. We know, I would say no, but also, I don't know. It's like, what does a manager do anymore? You just have to keep people together. So if the team doesn't fall apart and hate each other, if they don't yeet the group chat, I would say he did his job or whatever. But at the same time, with all of as I steal, answering the question, I guess I just lobbed you up I lobbed the ball off the backboard to give myself the alley-oop, but
you call yourself Ricky Davis. It's okay.
It's all good. But yeah, it's this is just this season is such a different animal to me. This is the one time where I could see this team maybe bringing the job security of Dave Roberts in question, only because look, man, this is year 9. And you've won one. Yeah. Maybe, or next year would be year 9 or whatever it is. And you've won one, and it was, let's say, fully legitimate, but it was the 60-game season. So you get, all right, whichever one you want to pick. Do you want to give your opinion, or what do you think they'll do?
I'll give both. So, and I'll start with Andrew Friedman. I don't think Andrew Friedman fires him. I don't think, no matter what, I don't think he's going to be gone because of what you're talking about. It doesn't matter what you do as the manager. He's a good locker room presence. All the guys like him. If it's me, I would have fired him after allowing Lance Lynn to give up 4 home runs. That was enough for me. That was malpractice as a manager to allow that to happen. I don't care if that was from above or below. You were the manager. You allowed that to happen. I would have fired him right after that, and being swept out of the playoffs by the Diamondbacks. Stop it. So yes. If they do not make a World Series this year or win the World Series, I absolutely think he should be fired. I don't care if it goes to Game 7. I don't care what happens in it overall. If he does not win, he should not be here. And at some point in every single organization, sometimes all it takes is a change in voice in the room. And if the change in the voice in the room is the thing that's going to make it happen, that's what's going to happen. Because I'm not going to give you a name. Oh, who do you want? It's going to be somebody. It's not going to matter who it is. It's going to be somebody that's just going to do the exact same thing as Dave and listens to the front office, but a different voice. And that's when it will go through. But hopefully he wins the World Series. You don't have to think about this. Yeah. Nothing has to happen. But otherwise, I think he should be gone.
Listen, I got this for you and that for you, because I'm moved. I'm moved on that one, because I mean, if there was a nail that had a head, you hit it. And I'm not going to blow you up, blow your ego up too much, but you crushed it. Now we'll move on to the last one because why not? That's how I decided to treat the segment. And I already gave my opinion on it. We know how it is, but love that stuff. Guys, make sure you, if you're not, of course, follow Greg Bergman on the internet, because he doesn't really do too much. He doesn't have that kind of time on the internet anymore, but still. All right, the final one, and this one has the potential of being incendiary because it's been a really interesting off season when it comes to the Clayton Kershaw narrative. He's back. So my question to you, love it, hate it, or something more nuanced than that?
So I absolutely do love it. I don't mind the fact that he signed. I think he should be a Dodger for life. I don't think he should go anywhere else. And the whole thing about going to Texas, I don't see why Texas would even want him. He's prone to giving up home runs right now. That is a small ballpark that gives up home runs. That's why Corey Seager went there, because he blasts balls out of there. So that never made sense to me. But I love the fact that he's coming back, because we don't need very much out of him. You need a month and a half of ramp up, and then the off season. I mean the postseason. That's it. If he doesn't come back till August and then ramps himself up and doesn't pitch till September, like great. Give me that one good month to get ready, and then pitch in the postseason and be at the guy that he was last year at the beginning of the season, when he wasn't even supposed to be the number one starter. He was supposed to be 3 or 4 and ended up being the number one, and it was really good for a very long time. You give me that guy at that point in the season and change his narrative in the postseason of being someone that's actually good in the postseason. I love it. If it falls apart, you don't pitch him. I mean, I think it's that simple. If he's not pitching well enough in that month and a half of lead up time into the postseason, just don't pitch him. He's not going to get some legacy start in the postseason because of who he is.
That's what I fear, and I think that's what a lot of fans fear right now. I would argue to say just about every Dodger fan. I would argue to say every Dodger fan loves Clayton Edward Kershaw. However, you watched him pitch with the shoulder falling off, and this is a guy that will always give his life to his team. He's a competitor and all that kind of stuff, but sometimes just maybe Clayton Kershaw isn't the best option for the team, and I think that's what some fans are being a little more vocal about this year. It's not just the Dodger haters that are putting Chokeshaw out there. It's like this is the first time I've really felt it where I wouldn't say fans are questioning the loyalty. They're just like, it gave me a sense of more, maybe it was time. I don't agree that it was time. I want Kershaw to retire as a Dodger. But if we're at a point where he is starting game 2 and he didn't earn it, then that's very concerning to me. He doesn't deserve just a legacy start. He needs to earn that start with, as we were just talking about a minute ago, with Dave Roberts' job on the line.
Yeah. So, I mean, all the pitchers, there's a bunch of pitchers that you have right now, starting pitchers. If you go look through it and you look at all the guys that are in there, he's not going to get a start as of right now. It was going to take 1, 2, or 3 of them to have what happened this year, where they all just kind of fell off and got hurt. May, Gonsolin, everybody, Buehler not coming back. It took that, Urias, and with his nonsense, like all of those things had to happen for him to get the start in game 1. I don't see that happening again. If he's pitching really, really well and he's like Pete Kershaw right at that time, and he gets a start in game 3 or a game 4, okay. But the way it's set up, he's not going to get into the game until maybe that point, if at all.
Yeah, number 3, number 4, it's definitely tough. And Aeronetic on the YouTube says, don't ever put it past Doc to start him, where I don't think we see Clayton Kershaw starting game 1. That's obvious. That won't happen. There's a reason why they went out and got the guys they did. They finally identified, hey, this is a fucking problem we have here at the top of this rotation. We need to stop pussyfooting around this and have these guys ready. But to say in potentially Clayton Kershaw's final season, potentially, if he doesn't get a start, that also just feels like such a problem to me. But he's not better than at least 4 of the guys. In theory, we don't know how the rebuilt shoulder rejuvenates him. But in theory, as of right now, as of what we saw last year, and he was still able to keep runs off the board, was not Kershaw. He was battling. Once I said it on one of the shows or streams or whatever I did. Once you saw him go into that changeup as much as he did, that's when you saw something. You knew something was wrong, and then we found out the shoulder's basically falling off. But if that shoulder is together and he's Kershaw of old, then it's a conversation. But as of right now, he's not better in my mind than Yamamoto, Buehler, Glasnow, who I'd love to see healthy in there, and Bobby Miller. So maybe even 4.
Yeah, all those guys are, and now Bobby Miller has a start under his belt. So the plan as of right now with all those guys, what you're saying, is not for him to pitch. It's just to see what he has. Look, you're right. He could come out and he's just throwing gas, and all of a sudden he looks like Verlander after when he's throwing it back up in the 96 range. Then maybe you start. Then maybe he gets a start. But the thought process is that he's not. He's not going to get a start, and he's just there to help get all the way through and hope that he's an amazing spot starter somewhere in there. But I can't imagine right now he's going to be better than one of those four at all.
Yeah. Cross your fingers, hope for the best, and hope that this team does put that piece of metal before legacy, because we've seen the legacy move. There's not a reason in the world Clayton Kershaw should have come in relief in the 2019 NLDS, but that was somebody trying to write a script there, and it did not work. No. And then we saw poor Rich Hill have to cry. And that's just not right, in my opinion. Never should see that. Max Effort here on the YouTube. Got to get to some comments before I get you out of here. Max Effort says, start whoever is hot. There's a lot of choices. I agree with that, and I think they can go with the hot hand because you do have enough depth at this point. I do got to go back here because we did get a super chat from IB Strokin, $5 super chat. Thank you, IB Strokin. Great name, by the way. Donating to the Ohtani Bobblehead Game Fund. So I haven't seen what the prices are for all those bobbleheads, but I'm terrified.
I can't imagine the Shohei goes for less than like 1,000. Are we serious here? Like opening day is, what is it, 400 for Upper Deck? It's insane.
Yeah. I will be here. I will be home. I'm going to be live streaming during the Korea game because I am insane. And you know what? I'm here just to. I won't throw another one out there to F around and find out what people are into on this channel. I get to play. You know. It's been a while since I've done that. Right Field Pavilion is in the chat, says, this is why I miss Greg after your impassioned Dave Roberts. I don't know if it's a speech, but at least hot take, spicy take on there. But you survived the Hot Corner, the first ever player of the Hot Corner. How was it? How can I do that better?
I think you did a really good job with that. You had 5 good questions, and it wasn't just, hey, what do you think of Clayton Kershaw? You had thoughts on all. I liked it. You did a really good job. And I like being one of the first one, or being the first one. So, I mean, are you going to keep it around? Is it done? Did I screw it up? Is it over?
No, I think you crushed it. But the important thing is you said that I did a nice job. So thanks, Dad. I appreciate the
support. Proud of you.
So proud of you. Yeah, this was your Valentine's Day present.
Yeah.
I don't even know. But guys, we've been on here for a while. Didn't get to as many comments as I usually do during the show, but we did get the treat of seeing Mr. Greg Bergman in the internet flesh here. Love talking baseball with you, my guy. Looking forward to seeing you on the internet again. Tell the people what you got coming up, of course, so they could watch your Dodgers takes all season long.
So I'm actually started it last year, but we're going to be doing the Blue Review. It's going to be on ESPN Los Angeles YouTube page, and it's going to be live daily. I think either starting a little bit inside of spring training or at the beginning of the season. It's going to be on from 9:30 a.m. to 9:55 a.m. leading into Travis and Sliwa on the ESPN Los Angeles YouTube page. And also, if you really want to hear me, I'm going to be hosting. I hosted today. I'm going to be hosting Mason, Ireland tomorrow from 1 to 4 p.m. and on Monday as well.
Who are you filling in for?
Mason.
That's an upgrade.
Yeah, Ireland's getting off too, so it's me and DeMarco Farr, Super Bowl champion DeMarco Farr. And
nice,
really fun time today, and we're gonna do it again tomorrow.
Awesome, man. Well, again, love doing this with you. Hopefully, this is the first of many times you come around and hang out with us because you are one of the fun people to talk Dodger baseball with. Next time you see him, give my friend Cody a hug there in the office, but without getting HR involved or anything like that. And
I can't do that anymore. I'm not allowed to give hugs.
That's fair. Well, give him a nice firm handshake with deep eye contact to my guy.
I love Cody. He's a great dude.
He's a great dude. Wonderful. one of the best, and everything that's good about him, I taught him. Not just messing around, but guys, thanks for hanging out. Thanks again to Greg for hanging out. Find him as at @corporate_Greg on the Twitter. I probably should have put a little bug down here for you. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the questions you guys dropped along the way in the comments. Again, sorry I wasn't as active. Next Monday will be an all comments show, just about, unless something goes crazy. Thank you for the super chat or super chats. I don't know if I missed any other. If I did, I'm bad. If you guys can't watch us live, search All Dodgers Podcast with Clint Pasillas, part of the Believe Network. We're on iTunes, Spotify, all of that kind of stuff. Consider rating and reviewing the show there, too. That really helps out. I am Real FRG on the social media things. The links are in the description below. I hope I earned a thumbs up on this video on the way out and a subscription from you here on the YouTube channel. It's completely free to subscribe. Greg subscribes. He probably doesn't.
I will in just a moment.
Yes. Thanks, Dad. All right, guys. Thanks. Bye.